One of the most common questions I get once people know that I run a CNC business is which machine should I buy to start a business? And that is absolutely completely wrong. A CNC is a machine. A business is a business, an enterprise with customers, invoices, all the other stuff. They're completely distinct. So let's say, for instance, you buy a water jet and your business happens to be cutting paper. Well, why did you buy that water jet for? It doesn't make sense. You can't cut paper with water, at least nicely. So the biggest mistake people do when they get into the CNC business is think that CNC is their business. Now, I'm not gonna lie, when I started my business, I had no business. I bought a CNC and I started my business the way that I'm now telling you is the wrong way to do it. And before that, I ran businesses. So it's not like it was completely brand new to me. And I spent many years helping other businesses get their CNCs going and so forth. So I had sort of a background of what to get. So stepping back, I started with a ShopBot Desktop, and that taught me how to make CNC things, how to think like a CNC, how to program for them and so forth. But my first real business machine was my Trotec 400 Flexx. When I got that, I absolutely knew I needed a fiber laser in there, and I also needed a CO2 laser. I saw a lot of businesses buy a laser, and because the fiber was so expensive, say goodbye to that and just focus on the CO2. The problem is most of the businesses that were buying machines at the time, they were laser based, were doing exactly the same thing. So what is your competition? Well, it's all the other guys with CO2 lasers. And the customer might say, well, I run a metal fabrication shop and I need these things fiber laser etched. Your solution with the CO2 is to use Ceramark or other sort of bonding paste, which are absolutely horrendously horrible. I never use that stuff. And that's how they ran their business. And a lot of those guys are now no longer in business because you can't compete. If everybody's doing exactly the same thing as you, what's the differentiator? Price. So if price is the only differentiator that you have with these guys, it's everybody's focusing on bringing, a couple pennies off here, a couple pennies off there. They stop buying brand new machines, they buy used machines, they stop buying off-brand machines. They get worse and worse. It's just a downhill spiral. Well, if you were smart and you bought a fiber and a CO2, well, you could say goodbye to some of those CO2 jobs that don't make you any money and do the fiber ones. Or if you have a CNC router, you can do those jobs as well. So again, it's not the machine that makes your business, it's what you can do with it that differentiates you from others. That's your business. By far the biggest eye-opener for me when I started my business was realizing that not all machines are the same. And not only that, the speed of the machine has a direct relationship with the profit of that machine. So for instance, I have a ShopBot Desktop, wonderful machine, does amazing work. How does it compare to my Thermwood behind me here? No comparison. This guy can move at over 1,000 inches a minute, could go full bore on anything. It's a ridiculous machine to have. If I ran a business just with a ShopBot Desktop, if that's all my customers needed, that platform, not a problem. But I could spit out stuff with here while it's still doing the first one on the ShopBot Desktop. Same thing with lasers. A lot of people start off with a 30 watt or 60 watt now is the base configuration on most machines. Well, if you double that to 120 watts, guess what? You're doing 2 to 3 to 4 parts for every one part that other guy is doing with the lower powered machine. So yes, it costs you more money, but at the end of the day, time is money. So do you want to spend your whole life in front of a machine because you want to save a couple of $1,000? No. Buy the absolute highest spec machine you can afford and then borrow to get a little bit more, and then you're sort of okay. And that's the route that I've always taken with my business. So just to go around full circle, if you're thinking about starting a business, decide what that business is, and then after that, think of how you can integrate CNC into that business, and now you have a CNC business. So if you want more information about CNCs, how to run them and so forth, you get my book, or you can contact me at CNCKing.com and we can make that stuff for you.